soft, slow, calming tone. Welcome to Void Realities, a place where restless minds can drift into wonder. If you've been searching for sleep, for calm, for the gentle rhythm of curiosity, you're in the right place. Tonight, we journey into one of the deepest mysteries. What came before the beginning? Before stars, before galaxies, before even time itself? There was something quieter, something hidden. Let your mind soften. Let your body rest. Together, we will step into the silence before the Big Bang and listen to the whispers of creation. This is Before the Big Bang, What Came First? Now, close your eyes and let us begin. Before the Big Bang, what came first? The story begins not with motion, not with light, not even with the gentle tick of a clock, but with silence. Imagine yourself floating in a space where there is no sky, no horizon, not even the faint suggestion of direction. You wait, but there is no waiting, because waiting requires time. And here, time has not yet arrived. This is not the silence you know, the kind that follows a storm or lingers in a quiet room. This silence is absolute, a silence untouched by even the idea of sound. It is the quiet before time itself. You breathe in, but your breath feels unmeasured. There is no moment that comes before it, and none that follows after. Without the rhythm of seconds, inhaling and exhaling blur into one eternal presence. You begin to sense what physicists mean when they suggest that time may have started with the universe itself. Without the cosmos, there is no clock to strike, no shadow to shift, no sun to rise or set. Time does not wait outside, ready to begin. Time is born only when the universe is born. In this stillness, you try to picture nothing. But even the word nothing feels too heavy, carrying with it the shape of a thought, the outline of an absence. When you close your eyes, you see blackness, yet even black is a color, a trace, a remainder of perception. True nothingness slips away the moment you reach for it. It is not a dark room with empty corners. It is not even a void you could drift through. It is the absence of any room at all, the absence of where. Your mind drifts to a shoreline at night. The tide has pulled far back, leaving sand damp and glistening, the air hushed and heavy. You stand there, waiting for the next wave, knowing it will come, though you cannot see from where. That shoreline is the closest your imagination can reach. For in the stillness before time, there is no ocean yet, no water, no rhythm of waves. And yet the potential for rhythm waits, hidden and quiet, like a breath not yet taken. Scientists call this mystery the singularity, though the word is more symbol than description. It is the point where our equations collapse, where infinity and zero blur into one. It is less an answer and more a sign that our understanding falters here. The singularity is not a dot in space you could point to. It is the suggestion of a moment where all the known laws dissolve, leaving only questions as wide as the silence itself. You rest in that thought. The laws of physics, so sturdy in your everyday life, do not extend backwards forever. They unravel at the edges, like threads of fabric burned by a spark. At that edge, the ordinary rules, of gravity, of time, of cause and effect, no longer guide the path. It is here, in this unraveling, that the story of before the Big Bang becomes both impossibly elusive and profoundly beautiful. You wonder if the silence itself was a kind of fullness, not emptiness. Could it be that what we call nothing was already humming with potential? That in the absence of time and matter, there was still a quiet tension waiting to release? The thought feels less like an answer and more like a lullaby. Soft, repeating, incomplete, yet soothing. As you drift deeper into this stillness, you begin to sense that what matters is not the clarity of the picture, but the wonder it stirs. To sit with the idea of a silence so absolute that even silence has not yet begun is to rest in the deepest mystery of all. You feel its weight and its gentleness, its vastness and its intimacy. And in that stillness, one question lingers, like the faintest ripple across a perfectly still pond. If this is the quiet before time, then what lies just beyond its edge? You drift forward, leaving behind the silence of no time, and find yourself at a strange frontier, a place where words hesitate and ideas stumble. You arrive at the edge of nothing, but almost at once, the word edge feels unsteady, for how can nothing have a boundary? An edge belongs to something, and here we are trying to imagine the absence of all things. Still, your mind insists on painting it as a threshold, a faint line where emptiness presses against possibility. You hold nothing in your thoughts, but it slips away each time you try to shape it. Picture an empty room. 4 walls, a floor, and a ceiling stripped bare. Yet even that room is not nothing. It has space, volume, air, a place for light to move. Picture instead a deep black void. But blackness is still a color, and a void is still a space you can float in. Nothing, if it can be imagined at all, is stranger than that. It is not a room without furniture, not a canvas without paint, but the absence of the canvas itself. Physics wrestles with this puzzle too. In science, nothing often turns out to be something in disguise. Quantum mechanics teaches that even empty space hums with energy, vibrating at the smallest scales. The vacuum is never perfectly still. It flickers with ghost-like particles that appear and vanish in less than an instant. What we call nothing is a seething stage, alive with possibility. And so the edge you are standing on is less like a boundary between being and non-being, and more like a veil, thin, shifting, shimmering. Your breath slows as you try to imagine stepping across this veil. On one side lies the familiar world, filled with galaxies, atoms, and thoughts. On the other side, no definitions hold. There is no space to stretch into, no time to measure movement, no ground to stand on. Yet somehow, from this absence, everything begins. The edge of nothing is not emptiness in the way your senses know it. It is a pregnant pause, the space before a note is struck, the hush before the curtain rises. You picture yourself as a traveler arriving at the shoreline of an ocean hidden in fog. The sand beneath your feet is solid, but just beyond, there is only mist. You can hear the faint roar of waves, but you cannot yet see them. The edge of nothing feels like that mist. A space where shapes are not yet visible, but where the sound of possibility stirs. The philosophers of old asked whether nothing could ever truly exist. Some claimed that nothing is impossible, that to speak of it is already to make it something, a concept in the mind, a trace of meaning. Others suggested that the universe had no beginning, that time stretches endlessly back, with no need for nothingness at all. Modern cosmology has not banished these questions. It has only reframed them in equations and experiments, in measurements of light left over from the beginning. Yet still, the mystery remains. How can something as vast as the cosmos rise from what seems to be nothing? You let this question settle in you, not demanding an answer. Instead, you feel its rhythm, like a tide brushing gently at your thoughts. Each wave brings the same soft refrain. Perhaps nothing and something are not opposites at all, but two faces of the same mystery. Perhaps nothing is not absence, but the hidden womb of being. As your body relaxes, you sense that the edge of nothing is less a place to be crossed and more a state to be felt. It is the awareness that before light and matter there was a pause. Not empty, not full, but waiting. And in that waiting, the universe found a way to stir. You float there a little longer in the shimmering hush, and then, from the stillness, you begin to hear faint murmurs, tiny fluctuations, ripples across the veil. whispers that may hold the first seeds of creation. You linger at the shimmering veil where nothing begins to feel restless. The silence is no longer absolute. Something stirs, faint as the soft rustle of leaves in a windless forest. You lean closer and notice the stillness flickering, alive with whispers. They are not sounds your ears can catch, but movements too delicate for any scale you know. These are quantum whispers, subtle fluctuations woven into the very fabric of emptiness. Quantum mechanics tells us that even in the deepest vacuum, the void is not still. Instead, it vibrates like a string under invisible tension. Particles and their opposites flicker into being and vanish again, as if the universe is breathing without lungs. They are called virtual particles, though their name is misleading. They are not illusions, but brief, unmeasurable tremors in reality itself. You imagine them like fireflies in the dark, appearing in flashes too swift for your eye to hold. Uncertainty itself is their source. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle whispers that you cannot pin down both position and energy with perfect precision. Nature resists being frozen in place. Even nothing refuses to sit perfectly still. Like the surface of a lake rippling with unseen winds, the vacuum shimmers with possibility. As you drift deeper into this thought, you see these fluctuations not as random noise, but as the first breath of creation. They are the seeds of imbalance, the small nudges that could someday grow into galaxies and stars. Without them, the universe would have remained smooth and featureless. But with them, there is contrast, variation, the faint outlines of difference. And from difference, structure is born. You picture yourself standing in a vast, dark hall. The air seems empty, yet in every corner, a faint shimmer plays, like dust motes catching light you cannot see. Each flicker is a whisper of energy, an echo of uncertainty. You do not chase them. Instead, you let them brush past you, reminding you that existence does not need solidity to begin. It can emerge from trembling, from fluctuation, from whispers too faint for silence to smother. These quantum whispers are the reason the universe is not perfectly uniform. When the cosmos later expands in its great inflationary breath, these tiny fluctuations are stretched across unimaginable distances. They become the fingerprints of creation, the pattern from which galaxies will one day form. The stars you see tonight, scattered across the sky, owe their existence to these first quiet ripples. It is strange, almost poetic, that everything grand begins with something so delicate. Mountains, oceans, and even your own body trace their lineage back to the faintest quivers in an unseen sea. You are, in a very real sense, the echo of a whisper, carried across billions of years. Your breath slows as you take in this realization. Nothingness is not a blank silence after all. It is a stage humming with invisible music, so soft you almost cannot hear it, yet so steady it has shaped all that followed. The thought comforts you, that out of uncertainty, beauty can arise, that from trembling, order can grow. The whispers fade as you relax, but they do not disappear. They continue in the background, a reminder that even the quietest of beginnings can unfold into everything. And as you drift in this thought, you sense a shift, as though the whispers are leading you towards something larger. A vast ocean of potential, restless and waiting, ready to swell into form. The whispers do not vanish. They swell. What began as faint flickers now gathers into something wider, something deeper. You feel yourself drifting into an unseen expanse, an ocean without shores. It is not made of water, yet it moves with tides. It is not made of light, yet it glows with invisible promise. This is the quantum field, a sea of potential, restless and infinite, humming with the possibility of everything that could ever exist. You float above it, though there is no above here. Direction loses meaning, yet you sense its depth. Every point in this ocean carries energy, waiting, trembling, shifting. To your mind, it feels like a surface before a storm, waves gathering strength just beneath. But this ocean has no waves yet, no crests nor valleys. It is pure potential, like a canvas before the first brushstroke, like silence before the first note. Scientists describe the quantum field as the foundation beneath all particles. Every electron, every photon, every atom you will ever touch is born from its ripples. The field is not empty. It is the stage upon which matter and energy appear. Imagine dipping your hand into invisible water. You cannot see it, yet it resists you, presses back, reminding you that emptiness is never truly empty. Your breath slows as you realize you are drifting in the birthplace of reality. Every star in the sky, every galaxy across the cosmos, every heartbeat and every thought began as a possibility in this field. The sea you sense now is not separate from you. You are part of it. You're not merely floating within potential. You are woven from it. The field is not chaotic, though it trembles. It is patterned, mathematical, precise. Its vibrations carry rules like the hidden grammar of a language too vast for the tongue to shape. These rules are what allow the universe to unfold in order, not randomness. The same principles that let galaxies cluster and atoms bind are already inscribed in the restless balance of this sea. Without such structure, nothing would cohere. Yet because of it, possibility can bloom into being. You imagine the field as a vast expanse of strings, each stretched and waiting to vibrate. One vibration will hum into light, another into matter, another into forces that hold the universe together. Like a great orchestra before its first note, the instruments wait in silence, yet their presence is undeniable. You sit in the audience, aware that the music is already written, though the first sound has not yet begun. As you drift further, you notice how comforting it is that possibility itself is so abundant. The sea does not ration its potential. It spills over endlessly, always full, always brimming. Even now, even within you, the field hums, guiding particles, shaping forces, holding the universe steady in its invisible embrace. You let yourself sink deeper into this sea. There is no danger here, no storm to drown in, only the soothing weight of possibility pressing gently against you. Each vibration is a whisper of futures, a reminder that the universe carries its own beginnings within it, like a seed that knows how to become a tree. The sea of potential is not yet the universe we know, but it holds its essence. You rest in its embrace, feeling how everything that will ever be, the stars, the planets, the laughter of children, the silence of night, already stirs here as possibility. And then, just as you are lulled into this ocean's calm, you sense a shift. The field begins to strain, as though some deep breath is waiting to be released. The sea does not stay still forever. Potential yearns to become reality. The next moment is not a ripple, but a surge. An expansion so vast that even imagination struggles to follow. The ocean of potential does not remain still. Beneath its shimmering surface, a tension grows, silent yet undeniable. You feel it like the pause before a deep inhale, the held breath of the universe itself. And then, without warning, the pause ends. Expansion begins. Swift, unstoppable, and vast beyond comprehension. This is cosmic inflation, not a gentle drift, but a rush, an eruption of space itself. In less than a fraction of a second, the universe swells from smaller than an atom to larger than galaxies. It does not expand into anything, for there is no outside to expand into. Instead, space itself stretches, pulling everything with it, faster than light, faster than imagination. You close your eyes and try to picture it. A balloon fills with air, its surface stretching outward. But even this image falters. The balloon expands into surrounding space, while the early universe expands into nothing at all. Its fabric simply grows, weaving new space with each instant. creating room where no room existed. It is not an object moving outward, but the stage itself spreading wider. In this expansion, the tiny whispers of quantum fluctuations are stretched as well. They grow, imprinted into the fabric of the universe, becoming patterns that will later guide the gathering of galaxies. What began as the faintest tremors now echoes across cosmic distances. The seeds of stars, of planets, of life itself are planted in the swell of this first breath. It is difficult to grasp such speed. The expansion is so sudden, so immense, that it makes ordinary scales meaningless. The span of your hand compared to the size of the Earth compared to the sun, all such comparisons fall short. Inflation outpaces them all, making time itself feel strange. For in that moment, the universe is not measured in seconds or years, but in an unfolding beyond measure. And yet, there is no sound, no roar, no crash, no explosion. For sound requires air to carry it, and here there is no air, only expanding space. What we call the Big Bang is not truly a bang at all, but the silent flowering of everything. You feel yourself carried outward on this tide, not as a passenger within it, but as part of its very unfolding. The expansion is not chaos. It carries within it the laws of physics, the quiet grammar that keeps it balanced, the strength of forces, the pull of gravity, the dance of particles. All are written in these first instants, as though the universe is composing its own language in one breath. These rules will remain, guiding the billions of years to come, shaping every star and every atom. Your body relaxes as you imagine this vast exhale. It is not threatening, not overwhelming, but deeply calming. For in this breath, there is a kind of order. Out of stillness comes movement, and out of movement comes structure. Inflation is the bridge between nothing and something, between potential and presence. As quickly as it begins, the inflation slows. The breath is not infinite. It steadies, cools, allowing matter and energy to condense. The universe does not collapse back into silence. Instead, it continues, expanding more gently now, carrying with it the imprints of that first rush. The echo of the breath lingers, shaping everything that follows. You drift in this calm after the surge, sensing the vastness around you. The cosmos is no longer hidden in silence. It is swelling, alive, unfolding into form. And as the inflation slows, something new appears. A flicker, a glow, the first light preparing to awaken. The great breath of inflation slows, leaving behind a vast, expanding universe. It is hot, dense, and restless, filled with energy so intense that matter and light are tangled together in a glowing fog. You drift within it, wrapped in a warmth that is not warmth as you know it, but the primal fire of creation. The cosmos is no longer silent. It hums with radiation, a bright storm where particles collide and scatter endlessly. At first, light cannot move freely. Photons, the particles of light, are trapped in constant struggle, bumping against electrons, ricocheting like sparks caught in a storm of endless collisions. Space itself is glowing, but the glow is hidden, locked inside the fog of matter. To you, it feels like a sunrise still veiled by heavy mist, the brilliance waiting but not yet released. Time passes. Hundreds of thousands of years, though in this narrative flow, you sense it as a long exhale. Slowly, the universe cools. The furious collisions calm. Electrons begin to settle, joining with protons to form simple atoms of hydrogen and helium. With fewer free particles to block them, the photons find release. At last, the fog clears. Light slips free. The moment is known as recombination, but you feel it more like dawn, the first light awakening. Suddenly, photons stream across the cosmos, filling every direction. It is not the light of stars. Those have not yet formed. It is a softer glow, the afterglow of creation itself. You rest in its radiance, feeling its presence as a gentle blanket stretching across the newborn universe. Even now, billions of years later, this first light still lingers. It has cooled and stretched with the expanding universe, becoming what we call the cosmic microwave background, a faint whisper of heat that fills all of space. Sensitive instruments can still detect it, a soft echo of the time when light first escaped. You imagine it not as a distant relic, but as a quiet hum that surrounds you, connecting you to the dawn of everything. You let yourself drift within this glow, aware that it carries a map of the universe's earliest moments. The tiny ripples imprinted by quantum whispers, stretched by inflation, are now etched into this first light. Where photons are slightly warmer or cooler, you find the seeds of galaxies, of stars, of the vast structures that will come. The universe, in its newborn light, is already sketching the outlines of its future. This light is gentle, but it is also the beginning of clarity. Darkness and brightness now exist in contrast. Before this moment, there was no horizon, no direction, no difference to guide the eye. But with light's awakening, space gains depth, distance, and shape. The universe becomes not only a sea of matter, but a place where vision, in its deepest sense, becomes possible. You close your eyes, feeling how light is not only an external thing, but a presence within you. The photons released then still move through you now, passing across your skin, filling your nights with starlight and your days with warmth. The first light has never gone. It continues, softened, stretched, yet eternal. And as you rest in this thought, you realize the story is not finished. For though light has been born, the universe remains young. The stars have not yet ignited, the galaxies not yet spun into spirals. Ahead lies the long unfolding, the slow gathering of matter, the shaping of worlds. The dawn has arrived, and now the cosmos waits for its first fires to burn. The story of beginnings does not end with certainty. It ends instead with wonder, a wonder that deepens the longer you linger in it. You have traveled through silence, through nothing, through whispers and oceans, through the rush of expansion and the birth of first light. Yet each step, instead of closing the mystery, has widened it. The more you see, the more you sense how much remains unseen. You rest in this realization, letting it settle gently in your body. The universe does not demand answers tonight. It invites you to sit with its questions as though they are stars scattered across the sky. Countless, unreachable, but softly illuminating the dark. Some may never find resolution, but their beauty lies in their presence, not in their completion. The first light still travels through the cosmos, carrying with it a memory of that earliest dawn. It moves silently, steadily, never tiring, never ceasing. When you look into the night sky, you are not only gazing at stars and galaxies, but into echoes of the very beginning. You are cradled in a universe that has been unfolding for billions of years, and yet, in its vastness, it still holds you gently, as if you belong to its rhythm. There is comfort in this perspective, that you are both infinitely small and intimately connected to all things. The atoms within you were born in those earliest moments, carried forward through every breath of the cosmos. You are not separate from the story. You are its continuation. As you close your eyes, you return to the silence with which this journey began. But now, the silence feels fuller, softer, like a quiet filled with hidden light. In its embrace, you sense that beginnings and endings are not separate, but part of one flowing cycle. And in that flow, you drift, not searching for final answers, but resting in the gentle truth that the universe holds more than we can ever know.